is somewhere out
Some
there.
alternative version of me is in a lab right now.
Wow, that was really that's kind of crazy.
I don't know. I was like, because my dad was in the government, and I didn't want to per se be something in like. I didn't want to be an officer. I didn't want to be like an agent. But I definitely kind of liked the life that you have in the embassy. I was like, all right, maybe something more in the sciencey world that is more experimental. That's more, I don't know, like
Experimental.
see.
Okay.
I don't know, and see, and then I started taking classes that would help me get into a school to be a forensic scientist. But then quarantine happened.
How long did that last?
It was like 2 years.
2 years of the course.
Because it was in high school, so it was courses like physics, chemistry, biology.
You took the scientific or
See,
okay, I get it.
and so that was going really well. Also, psychology was going really well for me. So I had this idea in mind, but then quarantine happened, and I fucked up, and I didn't put as much effort as I should have in chemistry. But since it was a very
But like I guess that in the
Hello, hi.
Ciao.
What's that?
No,
Hello, boy.
siamo a posto.
a posto, grazie. A posto, grazie.
No, abbiamo
Ok.
tutto,
A posto?
grazie. No, but like in a way, I think that in the U.S. you have to get certain credits to even like apply for something of the sort. You know?
See, well, I was in Peru when I was doing this,
Oh, okay.
but it was the IB program.
Oh, okay.
So, and because my higher level classes were chemistry, if I didn't pass that, I was in risk of not even graduating.
Yeah.
So I had a very good guidance counselor, and he was like, look, face the facts. It's not going as well as you want it to, so why not like maybe try something else? And then maybe after after college, you can still try the forensic science route, if that's something you want to do. But for right now, I'd say just focus on graduating. So then I ended up taking an art course, and then I don't know how I got myself talked into applying for an art university.
But who did you speak with?
His name is Mr. G. He was my guidance counselor.
Mr. G.
Because he has an Arabic name, so it's very hard to pronounce.
Okay.
And so he just goes by Mr. G. And basically, he fell in love with Florence, and it was his favorite city in Europe. And he was like, "There's this university there, university.
It's a university.
I don't know, girl. I always like university, institute, college, but
Yeah.
but to uni, but then
Yeah.
and there's this like cool alternative art program if you want. And I honestly thought I'd be working in animation by now and like illustrations, but
By now?
see, bro,
So you got into the course of multimedia thinking that you were gonna do cartoons? Oh, that's super cute.
bro, I love like animation. I love anime. Like I thought like it was gonna be my shit, and then we had like 3 like painting classes, and that was it. And I was like, all right, maybe that didn't go as well as I wanted.
No,
to.
but I think also with Marangoni is that you never really like the way they structure the program, and you're like a new person to the information. I don't know, like you don't get anything. Like you're also for curating. Like you're gonna have I don't know history of art. You're gonna be like doing this kind of things with art and painting and all that. And I was like, oh shit, okay, good. Because like even if I don't know what I'm gonna be doing things that I like. So and then half of the course I was like, shit, this is like. Even the names of the classes, they have nothing to do with what we have in class, no?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that also happened for you, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this and this, and you're like, oh shit, I like this.
Yeah.
And then by the second year, you're like, should I keep on going, or is this like, where does this
Bro,
taking
see,
me?
also like I think being an animator, like you really need a push because it's a tough job. I mean, you're exploited half the time. It's incredibly difficult.
And honestly, that's like I would say in terms of drawings and also graphics, a lot of people their first option is I'll do animation, I'll do something for cartoons or so it's also like the most obvious way you can take. So it's very competitive, I guess.
Bro, super. And I think we're gonna see now in retrospect if I did really want to like be an animator, I think I could have like worked it out in some way.
You never spoke to the teachers about it, like, hey, I want to be an animator. Could we just see if
Yeah, like
something-
I did some tests and whatever, and I would show them to my teachers in the first year, and they were like, yeah, that's interesting. Like,
no follow up.
see,
Yeah.
so I was like,
Who was it? Who was it?
Orsi, Odile Orsi.
Ah,
So,
she was your. What class was she giving you?
she was giving us just like a very broad like methodology class.
Oh, okay.
So, but then anyways, like we ended up all doing photography for the final exam because it was like producing like a creative campaign for a brand. Well, I mean, I don't know, and also like animation's so underrated. Like sometimes like people don't give it the hype it should have,
Exactly.
especially now with AI and everything. Like,
If I'm honest with you, that has no future. Like, cartoon
No.
and animation doesn't have any future. No, I think it's gonna be taken over.
seriously, I don't know. I mean,
Also
if you see.
photography.
I don't know, if you see like Studio Ghibli, for example, like I mean, the man himself was like, fuck AI, this is like a disgrace to human creativity, like how can you think that this could replace
Of
us?
course, but I think that he's one that is saying that at the beginning of AI. But there will be like in 10 years time when I would say we would be in our prime, so work-wise. AI will be taken, like it would have evolved so much by then that I'm sure that all the studios will be practically forced to take on AI.
But also at the same time, like now that AI is becoming a bit more mainstream, and then now how you see how it's been like monopolized by so many different like companies. Like bro, even if you wanted to like, because AI like the most like sellable aspect of it was that it was for everyone. Like everyone could do like whatever the fuck they wanted with AI. But now you're figuring out you have to like do subscriptions, you have to pay, you have to figure out which one. And now we're figuring out that like it's actually not super sustainable in terms of like
No, but
planet.
I mean, sustainable, yes, but I think all of these problems are the problems that you're having now, short term. No, in a way, yeah, like subscription. It's a short term because then there will be someone like I don't know Bill Gates or I don't know the film director Cameron that will buy it and he will give it to everybody because that's the way in which I would say big companies and big businessmen work. They want to buy the biggest company and then kind of like sell it to everybody in order to gain himself the big money, you know? So eventually AI, you won't even have to subscribe. It will be everywhere. Like Black Mirror shit, you know? Like, it will be Black Mirror. Which honestly, the other day I was in class and they wanted to project something and the whole, like, I just looked at myself in like as an observer, like kind of like my conscious left my body.
Third person.
Yeah, and I said, shit, like we're living in such a AI moment because I'm sure like my grandparents, my mother didn't have all this methodology to have
crazy.
class.
So-
Like I don't know, Gabriel Tosi, do you know him or no? Well, like one tutor, he was like, you know, like fucking start what's his name? Like the Iron Man guy, Stark. He was like starking on, you know, on everything, and like shit was coming out of the screen, and like, you know, clicking on, and I was like, bro,
This is weird.
like it kind of like the penny dropped there. I was like, shit, this is what I used to look in the movies, and now it's happening. Like fuck, it's so insane. And the whole projector crashed. So he was like, we don't have class because basically we don't have a projector.
Bro, that's crazy. No, also like I mean, bro, like I think about our teachers sometimes, and like most of them, like all they do is read off the screen, like, and that's a bit sad. I mean, like even if there was no projector, like can't you just talk to us? Like can't you just like dig into your deep knowledge?
Odile Orsi, come on, like she was the worst. I don't know if
You had her?
Yeah, I had her, and she was like, she would get the computer and she would start. She would have a Word document where she would be like, like reading the script. Bro, it's awful.
Bro, see,
no pauses, no intonation, no nothing. I was like, what the
Bro,
fuck?
yeah. Also, like we got into honestly, like she was the first teacher that introduced us to like performance arts. And then like all the like, bro, I had no idea there was such a trope of like self-harm and performance
Yeah,
sex.
yeah.
And I was like, but you get no like trigger warning for this? Like what the fuck? Like, this is horrible.
They would like use blood as their paint, and I was like,
Bro, see, and it's like there's no
God.
sensitivity like here.
yeah, warning. I don't know. No, but it's impossible, honestly. Also, like I don't know. Would you subscribe to Marangoni again or no?
Like also like I mean it was great and I think it gave me a lot of good things. Oh fuck. It gave me a lot of good things. I'm super happy with it. But at the same time I feel like it like there was
You paid for nothing or?
a little bit like bro even like the computers at school like our 3D modeling course. I think it could have been super cool. Like I'm seeing a lot of things on Blender that some brands are doing. That's something like super complicated. It does take obviously like a little bit of skill, but like nothing crazy. Like no like 3D like effect like nothing like mind blowing per se. And I'm like we could have been doing that shit, but because we don't have good computers, because like Managoni only has one fucking projector.
It's because of that, because of the tools.
Yeah, because I mean, like Blender, for example, like it works best on the Dell computers, and there's only like 4 of them at Marangoni.
Shit.
So
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, and like poor Konkotelli, our teacher, that like has to.
He doesn't do anything, bro.
No, I mean he can't because he doesn't have like any of the fucking tools.
But has he requested?
Sí. Yeah.
You think? I don't think he
Sí.
requested though. He like his classes are usually like, hey, how are you? Bueno, now cut toy. Bro,
Sí.
like I don't know. When we did for example, the Portal project,
Sí.
Madonna Santa. Anyway,
No fucks.
exactly. When we did the Portal thing, I was like, I don't know,
I'm
like
so down to sit down, but
yeah, we can. Pull in those 2 little things. I need. Yeah. But let me get the glass.
Okay.
Ah, grazie mille. I'll probably get it, but get it changed up though. Yeah. So there was one, like literally I drank so much gas that my belly just started to like erupt with like the crazy thing. Anyway, so no, I say for Concutelli, honestly.
No, see, because I think he's a really good teacher. Like, if you show a lot of interest in the course, he can definitely take you like another level of professionality.
I don't know. When we did the portal thing, like the thing on the portals, I was expecting like shit to come out of the portal, you know, like no, obviously not in a Sark way, but more as in like in a
magical little.
yeah, no, like for example,
Narnia maybe.
no, like what's his name? Nadal, Rafika Nadal.
Ah, see.
You
What
know
do you do?
He's like
Does he do like the portal? Oh, yeah.
like the things that melt
so.
inside. Like I was kind of thinking about that, but clearly it didn't go that way. So I was like, maybe I don't know. Maybe the computers weren't good, or because also he did most of the corrections of the thing, no?
No, bro, he saved my ass on the project. Also, like, I think the thing is, he's not so much like theory. Like, you can't really. Yeah, you can't really talk to him about like concepts in art and like, you know, and that's really what makes the work, I think. Even if it's like technically a masterpiece, if it doesn't have like
The storytelling or something. Well, what do you think about? How do you see? I mean, for me, this is the thing I've learned the most in Marangoni actually. Storytelling for me.
I don't know. I think like when teachers help you build like different layers of narrative within your work,
Oh, that's beautiful.
I think that's what like really makes it connect with people, and it really makes you like, oh shit, like my work really means something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think this is what it is, no? When, I don't know, like sometimes I speak to my mother about my project and she's like, ah. So, or for example, my dad, he's like, ah. what, like, for example, with the bathroom project, no? They were like, what does this mean? Like, how is it important to have conversations in the bathroom, you know? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, what? Yeah, I was just like having a fucking panic attack, yeah.
No, I mean,
I don't know. Like, when I talk to the tutors, they kind of like make me think maybe this is worth the project.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like, there's the whole like the art world. There's like the whole art world. I mean,
Dude, but if my dad can, and my mom can understand it, that for me is like, okay, I got it.
for sure. I mean, I don't know, like even like the document, like the thing I wanted to make in the video I wanted to make in Mexico, like but my mom she did not get it, like, and it made it more interesting in a way, but also harder because it was not at all what I was expecting.
What did you tell her?
I just told her like, hey mom, I think like it'd be really cool to make a piece in Juarez. Like I think we could really like, you know, like make something meaningful. And
So, but the trip was already planned, or was it like let's
let's
go to
go to Juarez. And she was like, okay. And because I mean, like, bro, like the story she tells me about like that little town and like going up there, like I think it could really resonate with a lot of people. Like I told her things I was 15, like you could write like a little short book or something. Like, but I think my mom lacks a bit like the self-awareness that it takes, because really like when these stories are expressed, it's when she's driving, when she's not really thinking about what she's saying. It's just a really like dead ass just telling me like a story. But then when like I pull out the camera and I'm like, okay, let's do this, she's like, she's like,
Yeah, she starts to laugh and like, yeah, my dad's the same. Like, in a way, I mean, also because I think we're very exposed to people having these kind of reflections. Also because I would say people that are very in touch with their feelings are the ones that speak about it in the most genuine way, no? And artists do that. Artists create stories, you know? Even if it's photography, if it's like, I don't know, sculpture, you create a story. So, in a way, I think this is what other people don't get, that as soon as you start to say, okay, this is worth recording or this is worth archiving, people will be like, okay, let's pull out the professional card. It doesn't exist. Like, that's not how it is. The way you were talking was more professional in a way.
but I mean, I don't know, like there's something also like kind of poetic about that, I guess, but it sucks.
You think like,
see, like I don't know, like,
well, why do you think your mom is so like out of with the camera?
I don't know, I think like
Because you say this is like, she flips the switch as soon as she sees the camera, no?
I don't know, maybe she just like, I think especially like with how we see cinema in like a more mainstream way and how we see like, I mean, I don't know, like I think up until I was like 17, all I watched was like Marvel films and whatnot, and then I don't know, like maybe it's a bit of patience that you need to like have with more artistic films that actually do resonate more than like seeing fucking superheroes and Stark like pull out some like random ass technology from his ass. But I think that's just like a bit how our world works. Like I don't think the world was made for us to actually think critically about it, you know? No, bro, what do you mean? Like, I mean, like even pop music to a certain extent, like, I think if we take the case study of pop music, like obviously there is a lot of pop music that resonates and touches
No, I
a lot.
think it's like super important.
Like
all of this, not only pop music, but like mainstream culture in general. Like, you cannot have the super cult underground if you don't have the mainstream. You know, like it also has a soul, you know. And for me, people are like, oh, like let's forget about Marvel. Bro, that shit is that shit is like, I don't even know how to say the words, but it plays a role and such a critical role in the core of humanity and history, you know? Like, if you ask me, most of the stories that I will tell kids or that, you know, people that haven't lived in this time, and when I tell them the Marvel situation and all of these stories, I don't know, like blonde chicks, I don't know if you've seen that film, white chicks, like that shit, it's funny, it's ironic, it's probably worthless, but we also have those thoughts, you know?
See, for sure. I mean, that's like, I mean, White Chicks is a comedy. And I mean, comedy is used to speak about like problems that we can't really talk about, or that make us uncomfortable talking about. Like in the ending scene in White Chicks where like the guy's like, Terry Crews is like, I'm not black, like, get off me, like, shut the fuck up, like, and I mean, that speaks to like, a lot of truth, you know, like, that we're not really comfortable with talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or, but I don't know, like.
But who's the storyteller in your family? Like you would say your mom, or?
I don't know, like, I actually, like, I had a bit of this crisis, like, the first year, because I realized, like, my parents are very, like, it's not, like, they're not, like, sophisticated per se. Like, you know, they're not like my mom when we went to the art museum in Juarez. Like, bro, like she was touching the paintings. And I'm like, have you never been in a museum before? You fucking animal. Bro, see. And I mean, like in that sense, they're like not super refined. I mean, they are like very polite and very educated people, but they're not very like they're rough around the edges. Let's say. And so when I came here,
but I mean that's lovely, you know. Just
yeah, for sure.
It's almost like seeing. Like a very genuine perspective of painting, because we all want to touch it.
Yeah, but totally.
We all want to touch it. Like, come on, you know. I think it's this concept of it's sacred. We shouldn't touch it. That leads you to not touching it. And I hate museums because of it. You know, because museums are the ones who were the ones. That's it. Because museums were the ones who said don't touch it. But honestly, like, also part of our senses as human beings is touching.
Yeah, totally.
And you perceive something and you feel when you touch. So I think it's very genuine of her to wanting to touch it. You know?
See, but like since I didn't really know that much about the art world, like when I went into it, I was so unprepared for the circle around the art world.
Like when you did the art school in Peru, like that art school.
My teacher was an animal. Like he was not what you would really picture as a artist. The only way like the artist fit into that category was his antisocial nature. Okay. Like the fact that he was such an asshole, but he wasn't like very like sophisticated, not very like elegant. But then here in Marangoni, like it was like being an artist, you had to have a certain level of sophistication or poise or elegance, and I wasn't really ready for that. And then I had a whole crisis, and I was like, my parents have never really taught me anything about art, like, or anything about like beautiful movies that don't have like, you know, Adam Sandler in it, you know. And I was like, oh my god, like, what does it say about me? What does this mean, like, for me? And then I realized like they do have their like very artistic, very like intimate, sincere side. Like, you know, like my parents in music, like since I was little, they've had such a strong connection with music, and this beautiful like music, like Amor Eterno, like bro, like you can't get more human than that, like
and more artistic than that if you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's very much like that too.
See, or also writing. My dad loves to. Well, like he doesn't love to write, but he writes very well. Like since I was little, he's always made us write letters to my grandparents every Sunday, and I think that's like very human as well. I mean, it's not like you're calling them up and you're like, oh hey, gotta go, okay, bye. Like, you know, or like a text message. It was like, you know, a letter and then maybe a drawing or maybe sending something out.
That's super artistic.
Yeah, same, bro. It took me a while to
acknowledge it. Yeah. But I think it must have been, like, as you say, very intimidating, just like getting here and everything turned into, this is, I don't know, like a social circle that requires intellect. Which I don't know how to perceive that, because like the other day I was angry because they were like, no, so what do you do? And I'm like, to be precise, I don't know what I do. I don't have a word for it. But if you ask me, I like taking pictures, I like writing, I like drawing, I like painting. So you're passionate about art. You're an artist. And they said, you're passionate about it. And I'm like, no, that would be my job. Like, I'm as passionate as an architect. I'm as passionate as an engineer. I'm as passionate as a forensic scientist. Like, there's this curiosity in each human being that decides to take on a course, no? And I think that people inherit, like, they perceive passion as something for the artist. But I think passion is found in everyone, no? So, I mean, even your parents that, I don't know, like your father is, like he works in the government, no? He must be passionate about his job. Like, or your mother, she's also passionate about something. But, I don't know, I feel many art projects and many, I don't know, art pieces have to do with things that are not necessarily art. Like, the thing just showed us about the mosquitoes. Like, you're kidding me. It's super interesting, but I wouldn't call it, I would call this person more inclined to biology, more inclined to even musician, you know? But it's the approach and the story and the reflection of it that has the merit of being presented in a museum, you know? Because even the letters to your grandparents, maybe you weren't thinking about turning it into an art project, but it has this sensibility and the humanity of saying, this is worth perhaps showing in a museum, you know? But I don't know, I'm super confused about art. Like, and actually, I began Marangoni very clear with what is art. And now that I'm finishing it, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know what it is. Yeah, exactly, like, I don't know what it is. And I wish people, because I've spoken to the Ninos about it, and the way he approaches it just frustrates me so much.
Yeah, the Ninos is like a cold stone. Like, I mean, I like him a lot.
He's nice. He's nice.
But like, I think he lacks a lot of like genuine, like sincerity. You know, like just like a little touch of like humanness.
Not even. I think the problem with him is that the actual opposite, you know, like he's been into this course and this environment so much that he now is completely sophisticated, completely tamed into saying, no, this has the potential of being an art piece. This is art, this is not art. And when you say, no, that art is everywhere, art is for everyone, he then pulls out the card and so art is nothing. Which is also true, no? Like, what makes you think that art is something? I mean, maybe you're right, maybe it's nothing. And you have to acknowledge that it's nothing. So, I don't know, like, even I wish that lessons would start with, I know, like I wish Taninos would say something like, I know now that art is nothing, therefore I am going to teach you nothingness, you know? And like, no, it's not that way, and I think it all comes down because of the art system, more like it, you know? Because perhaps my grandma, your grandma are artists, but the fact that they are not acknowledged as artists, that makes them as people that are irrelevant, you know, which is sad. Very, very sad. But I don't know. What do you think about, like, because this is the other thing that Nina says, like, oh, potentially in the future you will become a very famous blah blah. Do you expect to be famous?
I think a little bit. Like, I was like really excited at the thought of like, you know, like having somebody interview me or having somebody look at my work and be like, oh, that's how I want to like draw. Or that's how I want to shoot photographs. Or that's how I want to make a film. You know, because like that's how I also feel with like other artists when I see their work. I'm like, oh my god, this is so great. Like they did this so they executed this so flawlessly. But I mean, I think now I'm kind of like, what does it matter?
I just want money.
See,
This is where I am at, you know? I'm at like, I don't care who says, who likes it, who hates it. I just want to get paid. Like, I wish I could turn this into something that I could actually sell. Because I was talking to Jesse the other day about, like, there are so many things that I'm interested in, you know? Like, I want to become, I don't know, maybe a waitress, and then I want to become, I don't know, like a gardener, and then I want to do this, and then I want to do that. And she's like, yeah, but do you want that as your main job or your side job? You know? And I was like, bro, many artists take on second, third, fourth jobs because they don't think that this is they can actually pull off, you know? But then I'm like, but what's the side job? Is waitressing the side job or is that the job? You know, and I'm super scared of that. I don't want my side job to then become like, oh, so tell me, what are you? Oh, I'm waitressing right now, and I've been waitressing for like 15 years. Okay, perfect. If you want to say that, that's fine. But I don't want to fall into like, oh, I'm a waitress, and then that turning into the speech that I do all the time because this is what I do in life. I'm a waitress. Okay, I'm a waitress, but what do you do with waitressing? You know, I don't know if I am explaining myself because there could be artists that are waitress, and that's fine. But when they ask you what are you, I don't know. I be willing to say, oh, I'm an artist, and that is the job. That's not the side job. You know,
that's not the side hustle, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. That is the thing I do.
It's the main hustle.
Which is hard. It's very fucking hard because at the end, what you get money for is, or at least socially speaking, the job that gives you the most money is what you actually present people. No, like, oh yeah, I'm a CEO and blah blah. So what do you do in your free time? Oh, I don't know. I garden. I paint. I do music. Maybe that is the job. No, that's not the side job. That's not the hobby. I don't know.
I think it's like you gotta distress yourself a little bit as well, and like even if like I think beginners will take their course, and if you end up like having a side job, but you end up just inevitably dedicating more time to that, or find yourself more interested by that. I mean,
yeah, take it on. Like, take that on. But the animating and the cartoons and all of that, that's still in your mind, or that's...
Like, it's been a while since I watched a cartoon or something like that. I mean, I tried for the runway show of creating an animation.
For the artisanal intelligence?
See, because you know the little like animation Tracy Emin's has?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you know what? Like,
this is in a museum.
See, this is
like, Danilos cannot say shit about this because this is in a museum. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, obviously, like, there's a lot of conflicts there, and you know, she has this whole like body of research and like a lot of different mediums that she does research. So like, it makes sense that it's there. But then I'm like, okay, you know, like this feels like a bit of a sign to me that I could also try experimenting with animation. But it's harder than I thought.
Yeah, it's very hard. Like especially when you, like, for example, now the title of multimedia, no? There's so many artists that are not dedicated to one thing. Like, now they expand their skills in so many other things that, I don't know. For me, Tracy Emin is an artist, like a painter. This is the medium she is in. For example, the sculptures she did, for me, she's not a sculptor. For me, she's not even an illustrator. Like, she's a painter. And based in my criteria, this is the thing that she is more skillful at. But I don't know what you think about that. Like, you're a photographer, you're like, what? You don't know?
No, like,
or like, let's say you have to, I don't know, like, choose one for the rest of your life. Choose one medium for the rest of your life. What would it be?
I mean, I think I've had more time to develop my, not only like commercial, but
No,
also.
no. It's not about developing. Fuck that. It's not about commercial. It's about like you have to do one thing for the rest of your life. Use one medium. Like you go to an island, a desert island, and you have in a table the thing that you have to take. Either a camera, either a paintbrush, either a pencil, or what else? Or like I don't know, fucking hammer and like what do you take?
I probably take a camera.
You take the camera.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's just also like a huge field. Still, like you know, you have your analog photography, you have your digital, you have your
You're
your
thinking
video.
too rationally here. Hell, that's good.
Can I get me another beer, bitch?
Do you want to get another one? Let's go get another. While you get it, let me go see. It's pencils. Oh, stop. You're fucking kidding me.